Hello everyone, this is Understanding the Bishop in the Middle Game, and we're going to go about looking at some more concepts of the bishop, more strategic concepts, not a lot of tactics and stuff. Um, if you guys didn't watch the first stream of this, there's like a basic stream, which is essentially like what is the definition of a good bishop, a bad bishop, active bishop. And so if you haven't seen that one, watch that one before you watch this one. So it kind of builds up. So for now, we're doing the bishop, and we're going to do some couple more advanced positions rather than the simplistic ones in the previous one. And so basically, this is the new format of Acerook. Is this me going over principles for myself and for you guys to follow? And hopefully you guys can think about where to actually put the pieces, the thought behind each move rather than just, oh, I went there just because it looked good, you know. And so let's begin with this first one. Right now, it's white to move, and the question is, whose bishop is better? Usually people have said in the past, oh, it's opposite colored bishops, it's going to be a drawn endgame. While it is true, opposite colored bishop is typically a drawn endgame if you can have like a gridlock setup, lock up all the pawns on both sides, and just shuffle your king around, or your bishop. It depends on what it is. But the emphasis is opposite color endgame. Right now, the position is in the middle game, and so in the middle game, however, that's different. So the question I first want to pose is, which bishop is better, whites or blacks? I want to type that up and then let you guys give a little bit of thought, see what you guys think. Alright, so right now Black has the bishop on the fianchetto bishop. So he has the A1, like this long diagonal, the longest diagonal of the chessboard. White's bishop, however, is still kind of active, but the only thing that's hindered by is, well, first, its own two pawns, so C2 and A2, and also, Black's bishop, however, is not really hindered. Like, most of the pieces are on light squares. And so this bishop is hindered by also the light square here. So, like, it can't go to f7 if it tried. It's illegal, but, you know. And so the space that this bishop can travel, a4, c4, d5, versus this long bishop that can go even to b2, makes Black have the better bishop. And so, you know, an amateur would think, oh, it's opposite color bishop endgame. I'll just go for the draw as Black. No, this bishop, if you guys, I'm going to flip the board here. If we switch the side, this bishop is controlling a lot more squares. And so the idea of a Black is maybe queen e7 and then queen f6. And the idea is coming to b2, just threatening b2. And it's really hard to defend b2 one more time, other than the king, because the bishop occupies this long diagonal. Like, the queen is the only one that could probably defend b2, if it could maybe do that, probably not. Or it has to do white has to do an ugly move like c3, and that just completely plus up white's king structure, or white's king protection. So versus this one, it's all pretty solid on Black's side. And so, so the threat White has to prevent, first off, is, well, to prevent queen e7, queen f6, and then queen takes b2. It's not mate, but it's definitely a winning attack. Also, white wants to do like this G4 and F5, but this Queen 7, Queen F6 is so much faster, and it's because black has the better bishop. And so, looking at this position here, white played rook to d7. So ultimately, what does black do? What does black do? White's plan is obvious. Right, with rook d7, he's planning obviously to move his rook to d1 with rook h to d1. So how do you go about challenging rook d7? Simple move. You guys should get it. Type the question. So black to move. What's the move? All right. So rook d8, but which one? And so you guys got it right. Rook h, rook a d8 is probably better because this rook is actually protecting on the f7. So you guys got the right. Rook a d8, obviously, just challenging the center. So or challenging the center file. And so white plays rook h to d1. So the obvious capture, take. All right. And oh, I do apologize. Let me fix this. Okay, it should be a lot quieter. People have said that my audio quality has been bad, so I just turned off my external fan here. So, but yeah. Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me a little bit better. I'm talking a little bit slower, so my accent doesn't come across too much. And so, anyways, all right. So after the exchange of the rooks, you can't play rook d8, and so black plays queen to g1 check. Now, queen to g1 check allows what? Well, can white play this? Can white play rook to d1? So I'm going to type that in the chat for those who are just joining in. Oh, there goes my fan. That's my fan, my laptop fan. So streaming this live is definitely revving up the fan. So all right. So give you guys a little bit of time to think. All right. So basically, here white can't play rook to d1 to block the check because of this move. Bishop takes b2, check. And so if the king moves to b1 or capture the bishop, black simply takes rook, like so, like so. And the other version is king to d2, and well, rook d8 is a pleasant eater, where he doesn't even get a bishop, and he's down simply a whole rook, and white is just simply losing. There's no repetition. Black's got the dark squares covered by his long bishop, and so so after this, king to d2, queen f2 check, all right, and then king to d3, queen f1 check, queen to e2, and queen takes f4. So he's down. Black is down pawn, or excuse me, white is down pawn. Black just gain a pawn, and so white's like, hey, you want to do a opposite color bishop endgame? My rook is a lot better than yours, but I'm just going for a draw. Obviously, no trade. Black has a better bishop. This whole battery is controlled. F7 is defended twice by the rook and the king. This bishop sack doesn't even work. Really no counterplay for black or for white, and the king safety is terrible. And so, if all these little advantages add up, it's because starting from this very position, which look pretty dull. This opposite color bishop endgame, that's emphasis on the endgame, on the middle game, black has a superior minor piece, and so that's why he won this game. So, take, check. Nope. Let's go to this one. Check. 1982. Check. No trade, and there we go. So, any questions on this position from the chat? Anybody have questions about this? Well, White didn't resign. White basically, in this position, White should resign pretty much. Basically, the reason why is because Black has both attack. The king safety is on White's is terrible. Black has is a pawn up, so this 4-2 majority here on the king side in the future will definitely benefit him. In addition, this battery, I'm going to win this b2 pawn, and so like for example, let's say if he takes this rook, that looks sketchy. You can't take the rook because of that, obviously. You can't take that pawn, with the rook, because that's fork and you're down rook. Alright, but even so, let's say he takes pawn. The pawn structure here for White is just horrendous because now this pawn is just preventing any pawn pushes. In addition, how many pawns does White have? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So pawns or groups of pawns. So 1, 2, 3. And then Black, 1, 2. And so, and also being up a pawn definitely gives initiative along the bishop. Good squares, rook d8 is coming up, or rook c8 going to c3 and just taking all these pawns in the future. So White's position is really, really hard to play for a draw at this point. And so White should resign at this move. So, alright. So I'm going to set up the next position while you guys mingle down. So let me set it up. So for those who are just joining, this is Acerook, and basically instead of me playing lots of random bullet chess, 2 minute, 1 minute even, you guys get to go over some strategies and some principles in the middle game to actively place your pieces. And so, and it's also a good review for me as well because I'm preparing for a tournament. So, good review for everyone. So, I'll still play some live chess, but it will be mainly just like these lecture formats. So, alrighty. Okay. Yes. Alright, so this is the next position, and I know I will mess that up. And make a back move? Yep, okay. Alright, let's do that. Alright, everybody see the position now? Alright, it is Black to move. Alright, so Black to move here. Another opposite color bishop. But it's not the end of the game, it's the middle game. And so you gotta effectively use both of your pieces, and so effectively coordinate them so that they are in the best optimal squares. And so from Black's perspective, he doesn't really have the center. And the queenside play can easily be locked up, maybe with a5 or a6, or even bishop a6. Where can this bishop, the question is, who has a better bishop, White or Black? They're both bad, technically, because the pawns are all on the dark squares for White, and conversely, Black's bishop, all the pawns are on light squares. And so, which one has the, worst bishop? The bad English, but